that one of the reasons I wanted to make sure this series had a platter of different people from different backgrounds is because there are people who are comfortable with being feminine, or there are black males who are comfortable with being feminine and expressing themselves in that way, and there are some who are comfortable with just being masculine and gay. So the series is really making sure that we hit those points of like, okay, it's not that we're not only just recognizing the fact that people are uncomfortable with having that stigma of being like, okay, if I act this way, I'm going to be looked at as too gay. You know, we want to make sure that we hit every spectrum, just as in Empire's done with Jussie Smollett. I think that they've introduced a whole different perspective on what black gay is, or black male is in this community. Because a lot of people have the perspective on what you just pointed on, the reality shows and other shows that are openly flamboyant, and that has always been something that for me, I can say we've been watching that they've been getting away with playing those characters because that's been more accepted.
Like you think of like In Living Color, or you think of like any old 90s show, and you just like, it was just over the top, flamboyant, feminine, and like then you have to attach that. But then, you know, I feel you on I understand what your friend said. I don't agree with what your friend said about everyone's gay until proven otherwise. I don't agree with that, but there are gay men that do think that way. And I think, not to put them down, but I think that small section of the community is what makes it hard for us to cohabitate and be comfortable with each other, because we don't want to overstep those boundaries of sexuality. Personally, when straight men are overly comfortable around me, not overly comfortable in the sense of like them being able to share themselves, but when they like touch me and stuff, I'm like, whoa, like what is happening? Like, you know, it's just like chill. Like I like men, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you doing that, it's like, it's kind of like overstepping the boundaries. So it's like a battle within, to your friend's point. But I want to ask Chris, sorry.
I was actually going to bring him in because like that dynamic was happening in filming. So and I want to say because it's true. It's not to say that going into this was going to be easy. It wasn't going to be a sugar clean like, yep, all right, we're acting here, so let's go ahead and just we have people who, when we were casting, we wanted to be as real as possible. We also wanted to make it as comfortable as possible too. So even I know that when I had to look for Christian, I had to look for Chris's character, Coach L, for a while, because no one that we were thinking about or anyone we approached was comfortable with playing this character, and it was because they were scared of all they heard was gay.
So they were scared of it.
And then they were like, I respect it, but nah, that's not me. And it's like, okay, I can respect that.
It says a lot more about them, though.
It does, because, I mean, it's acting, right? So I wanted to go ahead and have Chris give his, his perspective on how we got to where we are right now. And, if you did feel comfortable in any sense, or how was that for you with that conversation with us?
I mean, I felt comfortable. I think it starts off with being secure in yourself, as a black man. So just relating to Stephan on a level of education, working with youth, working with kids, that's the thing that I knew him as. I didn't, like, even when I first seen him, I'm like, dude, he might be kind of gay. but we had a meeting in my office, and man, just the conversation was real. It wasn't. We looked at each other as black men first. Try to aspire for our goals, our dreams and stuff like that. And just even me wanting to break it to certain industries, and him already being in acting and stuff like that, just like, man, he a go-getter. That's what I see him as. And
that's what's up.
I'm straight. He gay. It's just that's just what it is. That don't define us. We more than that. And I think that's what the straight black community need to understand too. Even just watching shows like a movie like Moonlight, coming from where I'm at, it's like, man, seeing a dude with a do-rag and gold teeth in his mouth, you feel me, in the cutlass, like, you feel me, like, it's like, man, like, people need to see stories like this more. So if we could put this energy out there, man, and just let people know that we all black men. When we step into a room, they're gonna see all of us black men first. They ain't gonna be like, oh, he gay, he's straight. Nah, they looking at us the same. So we gotta come and just 100% be ourselves.
Absolutely. Sorry.
I had a question about. Actually, I'm speaking from a little bit of my experience. When I was in college, I signed up to live in the dorms for a little bit, and all my roommates were straight black men in the track team. So I had that experience
on the track team.
On the track team.
Okay.
So all athletes, all straight. And one thing I found very interesting is that I will be the person to come to talk to about the things they didn't discuss with each other, like emotional things, you know, like stuff they don't feel safe discussing with their friends because they don't want to seem soft. So, you know, problems with their girlfriends, or even asking me questions about my life because they were curious.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask Chris and also Marquis, have you ever had experiences where you feel like it's comfortable to talk to a gay man about your emotions?
Or is it more comfortable?
Or is it do you imagine how it would be more comfortable?
I haven't myself had that experience, but I can see how that would be, because just the stigma in the straight black community as men don't cry, you know, especially as a black man, you gotta be tough, you know, stand up, poke your chest out, you know, whatever you're going through, don't say nothing. And then you see, you know, gay men, it's like they have this, like, the good thing that I see about it is, like, they have this comfortability in themselves, you know, with a lot of, growing up, as myself, a lot of insecurities growing up, with, you know, without a father, without just, you know, in that cycle. So it's like, you're not used to expressing your emotions, you know, right? Or if you do, it's going to be to a woman, you know, but...
That's exactly correct.
That's what I mean. I have that experience, but...
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest. All right, I know I've never had an experience. Well, I'm not an emotional person, period. Anyway, but I think the notion that maybe expressing to you, maybe in that dorm room, in that facility, maybe you were more, like you said, more comfortable, so you were less likely to judge them, right? Because you obviously probably been judged a lot in your life, so I played that narrative, like, okay, well, this person, they can't judge me much either. So I think that may have been it, because I mean, when I go to therapy, I have a woman therapist, I don't have a male therapist. I feel more comfortable talking to a woman, because you can't really, it's not much you can really judge me, because the thing that one thing that black men are most feared of is being judged about your masculinity.
Right.
And I think that for me was like, okay, it may have very much well been that. Maybe I just didn't want a male therapist. I don't know. Maybe I didn't feel comfortable being in an environment with a man like that at the time. But when I'm around a woman, I feel more comfortable discussing, because I'm like, you can't really come out my masculinity. As a gay man, I don't think a gay man can come out my masculinity either. So that could be the notion that I think they may have felt. Because, I mean, I don't talk to my guys about all my issues. I mean, I know Kia. I talk to Kia about all my issues anyway. She's a woman. You know what I'm saying? But if there's a guy, my friends, I never had an emotional moment where we cried or had it's just something that I think is embedded into us. So that's my take on that, and I think that it's very admirable that they did reach out to you, because I have a gay friend. He's still a man in me, so I still don't look at you as like, you can still kind of judge my masculinity a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let me not cry real quick. Let me hold that in for a little bit. But I think that realistically speaking, I think the comfortability in the people in the LGBT community, especially gay black men, I think it makes it easier for us to talk to them if we needed to. I'm not emotional, so I'm just having it. I
do want to note real fast, though, too, that we're talking about, I know we're talking about specifically in the series or whatever, but like when we're talking about just gay in general, that expands to the whole community as well. So, I mean, I know we're focusing on us because we all identify as black men, but I do want to just recognize that it's important as well that there's a relationship between the hetero black men and as well as everybody else that identifies in the LGBT community as well, especially like trans as well, that are getting murdered, probably by black hetero men, because well, hetero men. So so I think that's important just to notice.
They try to make it like keep saying LGBTQ community, because I'm like, I don't want nobody to do that.
You don't get to get the L, the B, and the T. We're right. The rest of that, the IA++.
Yeah.
But
and I'd also just want to piggyback on that and saying that this perspective that we're giving is just from a black male perspective, but this can also transcend into any other race as well. Yeah. I know that gay has no color. And I know that because there are many other cultures and communities that are probably dealing with absolutely are dealing with the same things that we're dealing with too. So we want to make sure that in this series as well, as we tie it back, that that will be represented. Yeah. We will be having that your community represented in the sense where it doesn't just make it seem like it's just about the black male perspective or the black lesbian perspective and stuff like that. There will be that crossover.
And I love that, because when we think of like just think straight, right? Think society. You see the patriarchy of men, then you see women, then you see, then you see people of color, and then within that you see the different patriarchy. I love that you guys are doing that, because even in the gay community as well as the straight community, men are always seen as first, and in the black gay community, black men are at the top. It's such a weird structure in layers, right?
Yeah.
But
seen at the top is in what essence?
Like as a patron. So if you think of black gay, the man is going to be prior. You're not going to think of black lesbian woman. You're not going to think black trans. You're not probably won't even think of black bisexual. You'll think of the flamboyant black man, right? Like flamboyant or not, it's going to be a man, right? And so I think it's important that we tie in black women and black trans and black people that identify as bisexual as well.
And it's important to make to note the distinction that I feel like when it comes to the advancements that, people in different communities have made when it comes to LGBTQ and, coexisting with the straight community, I feel like the black community is way down. I feel like we're making movements and advancements, but we're way down. That's why I can really, really appreciate this web series, because when I first heard of it, I'm like, this is genius. I haven't heard of it, but just the whole concept of the web series it's necessary. Yeah, that's why I really hope that it takes off, because
tune in.
Literally, we're stronger united than divided, right? Absolutely. And united in every aspect of our community.
Right? All Black Lives Matter, for sure.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So I wanted to kind of piggyback off what you just said earlier. You were saying that. I just forgot what I was going to say now.
Oh, you forget.
It was something about black people being.
You were
behind. No, you said black people being behind.
No, you were saying we're behind, right? So I don't know. Now, like I said, I'm not as indulged into. I'm not as woke, I guess you would say, when it comes to this essence. But